Spring had just arrived on Sodor, and the engines on the Skarloey Railway were bustling about. Rheneas underwent an overhaul while the winter nipped the railway, and he was feeling much better. He was out all the time pulling passengers. Sir Handel grumbled at the fact he wasn't pulling the coaches, but Rheneas kept himself in check and never let the trains go to his head. "It reminds me of the old days," Rheneas told the others one morning. "Back then, the track was rotten and passengers were few." "Oh, I remember those old days," added Peter Sam. "Before Sir Handel and I arrived, it was only you and Skarloey, and he could barely turn a wheel." "And now we're packed with passengers," grumbled Duncan. "Hush, Duncan," said Duke. "Passengers are the most important part of our railway." "I don't mind it," replied Rheneas to Duncan. "I'd much rather have plenty of passengers than barely a bunch. With a lot of passengers, we had to work hard to make sure people came. I had plenty of close calls when Skarloey went away to be mended." "Could you tell us one of these stories?" added Rusty. And this is the story Rheneas told. A long time ago, when the Skarloey Railway was only run by Skarloey and Rheneas, passenger traffic was low. Skarloey was worn out, and Rheneas had to handle all the trains on his own. Everyone worried that the line would close. They didn't have the funds to repair Skarloey or purchase another engine to help, so Rheneas took on all the work. He felt the weight of his responsibility enormously. One day, Rheneas was at the junction getting ready for the first train. A band of enthusiasts came to see the line. With them was the controller of the Mid-Sodor Railway. The Mid-Sodor Railway was about to close, and he wanted to find a safe home for his engines. "If you pull this train well," whispered Rheneas' manager, "we might have not one, but 2 new engines soon." Rheneas beamed. The passengers all got on, and Rheneas set off down the line. He rode extra carefully. The line was bumpy and had gone unmaintained for several years. The coaches rocked and rattled, but Rheneas carried on. The manager was nervous, but the Mid-Sodor's controller was impressed so far. They reached the top station without a fuss. The passengers got out to talk and watch Rheneas go through his usual checks and fills. Once he was ready, he backed down onto the train. A little too hard. He didn't slow down in time and bumped the coaches. The last coach had a bump in the bad rails and fell between them. "Oh dear," cried Rheneas. "I've ruined everything." The manager scrambled to think of an idea. "There's no other coaches. I don't know how we'll get them home, other than taking the rest of this train home and coming back for them." Rheneas felt terrible. And then he had an idea. "Sir, there's still some slate trucks up the line. Could they maybe ride in those?" The manager smiled. "Brilliant, Rheneas. Be quick now." And so he did. The enthusiasts opted to ride in the slate wagons to get a nicer view of the line. Rheneas returned and put the slate wagons behind the coaches. Once everything was ready, Rheneas set off. He had a wonderful trip back down the line. The enthusiasts very much enjoyed riding in the wagons. The view was spectacular for them. Rheneas made it back down to the junction with no problem. The manager and Mid-Sodor controller came out of the coaches. "You have a brilliant engine, and railway too," said the controller. "And the views are spectacular," chimed the enthusiasts. "I must say, I couldn't see a better place for my engines. How about we work out a deal?" "I'd be honored to," replied the manager. Rheneas couldn't help but beam. He returned home that night tired but triumphant. The manager came to speak with him. Because of your quick thinking, 2 engines will be coming to our railway early next year. I'm very proud of you, Rheneas. You saved our railway. Rheneas had never felt prouder. I'm sorry for thinking too many passengers was a problem, said Duncan. You really fought to keep this railway open. I fought until my gears jammed, laughed Rheneas. You are a very useful engine, Rheneas, said Rusty. Rheneas smiled. Duncan doesn't complain too much about passengers now, but he still can find many other things to complain about. And Rheneas pulls his passengers dutifully, as he knows there is nothing more important than passengers.